Good afternoon to all of you. Dear students, I have already sent you the questions of this first chapter, The Portrait of a Lady. Now we are going to do other important questions or thinking about the text questions, which are also important for a textual point of view. The first question is, the author's grandmother was a religious woman. What are the different ways in which we come to know this? The grandmother was truly a religious lady. She said her morning prayers while she bathed and dressed the author for school. She also accompanied the author to school, which was situated in the temple. While the author used to study, the grandmother read scriptures in the temple. All these things show that she was a religious lady. So this is question number one. The author's grandmother was a religious woman. So we come to know about the answer from this first question. Second question is, describe the changing relationship between the author and his grandmother. Did their feelings for each other change? Now we come to know that in village, the author was totally dependent on his grandmother. She used to wake him up in the morning and got him ready for school. She also accompanied the author to school. She was very serious about author's education. A turning point came when they shifted to city. The author joined an English school. The grandmother was not in a position to accompany the author to school, or nor she was able to help the author in his studies. So he was given a separate room of his own when he went for higher studies, and the common link of friendship came to an end. She used to spend less time with the grandson. Further, when the author went abroad for higher studies, the common link of friendship came to an end. But the feelings of the grandmother and grandson did not change for each other. She went him to see him at the airport. She also celebrated her grandson's homecoming. Third question is, would you agree that author's grandmother was a person strong in character? Yes, she was a lady strong in character. She was not formally educated, but she was serious about her author's education. In village, she used to spend a lot of time with the author. She got him ready for school, accompanied him to school, and also helped in his studies. She was religious and had good ideas about life. She was not happy to learn the education which the author was receiving in the city school. She also used to feed the sparrows. And according to her, music was not meant for gentlefolk, it had lewd associations. So she stuck to all these ideals till the end of her life. Fourth question is, have you known someone like the author's grandmother? Do you feel the same sense of love with regard to someone whom you have loved and lost? Yes. From your own point of view, my grandmother also truly resembled the author's grandmother. She was an affectionate and very caring lady. Actually, this is a question which is for the readers. She had boundless love for all. My parents were in service, so they spent less time with me, but my grandmother fulfilled all my needs from morning till evening. She was a benevolent lady. She had a kind heart for animals. She used to go to temple to worship. It was her daily routine to fetch me from the school. Finally, one morning, she took her last breath and made her memory in my thoughts. Last question is the character sketch of grandmother, describing the words like affectionate, caring, kind, benevolent, religious woman, and a strong woman. The author's grandmother was a true picture of love, affection, and care. She had boundless love for her grandson. Both of them had strong bond of relationship in the village. She fulfilled her grandson's needs from morning to evening. She also accompanied him to school. When the author learned his lesson in school, she sat inside the temple reading the scriptures. She was a kind and benevolent woman. She was a kind-hearted woman. She used to feed the village dogs with stale chapatis, and she also threw breadcrumbs to the sparrows. All of them collected around her. Some even sat on her heads, but she smiled and never tried to shoo them away. She was a religious lady. Her lips always moved in constant prayer. Her one hand always kept telling the weeds of rosary, but on the whole, she was a strong woman. When the friendship between her and author snapped, they saw less of each other. She bore everything bravely. And the last question is, Grandmother is portrayed as a kind woman. What details given in the portrait of a lady give you that impression? The narrator's grandmother was a true picture of love, affection, and care. She had boundless love for her grandson. Both of them shared a strong bond in village. She fulfilled her grandson's needs from morning till evening. She also accompanied the author to school. While the author learned his lesson in school, she sat inside the temple reading scriptures. The author's grandmother was a kind and benevolent lady. She was a kind hearted woman. She used to feed the village dogs with stale chapatis. She also threw breadcrumbs to sparrows. All the sparrows used to collect around her. Some even sat on her head. Some smiled. She smiled and never shooed them away. She was a religious lady. Her lips were always seen moving in constant and silent prayer. Her one hand always kept telling the beads of her rosary, but on the whole, she was a strong woman. When the friendship between her and the author snapped, they saw less of each other. She bore everything bravely and did not have any complaints or ill will towards the author. Thank you. Have a nice day.